Feet. Stinky things. Filthy, sweaty. Different to look at. I have siblings that have a second toe that is longer than their big toe. I know a man that has toes that are almost as long as some people's fingers. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. They're also at times repulsive when you think of feet. Especially if you think of touching feet. I mean, it can be repulsing just to touch your own feet, let alone constantly touching someone else's feet. But I don't know about you, but I'm going to share a little something about me that you may not know, but I like pedicures. They feel really good. I don't mind. I don't have a problem with someone else touching my feet and giving them a good massage. It was funny when Heidi was pregnant with Kayleen and the youth group did a baby shower for her. They also gave me a pedicure for my feet. Like, wow, awesome. I loved it. It was great. But when you think about touching other people's feet and what you have to work through mentally, let alone physically, to be able to bring yourself to that point, to touch someone else's feet, it becomes a humbling experience and an opportunity for breakthrough to begin to happen. Because feet are just kind of that thing where, no, really, you don't want to touch my feet. No, you don't. Brings about a level of vulnerability. But it's also an opportunity to meet a very real physical need. See, there's an order out there. It's called the Order of the Towel. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. But the Order of the Towel is that beautiful reminder going back to when Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. See, back then, feet were exposed. They didn't have closed up shoes. There was all sorts of stuff that they walked through. And stuff is putting it mildly. There might be other terms used there. And so it was common practice to wash feet. It was expected when you walked into someone's house, someone was going to wash your feet. They were dirty. They were stinky. Who knows what? So the Order of the Towel reminds people of their need to serve as Jesus served. Gary Benedict, he was the president of Crown College before he became the president of the Alliance. And one year at baccalaureate, the night before graduation, challenged the graduating seniors of Crown College that year that as they were about to embark on a new stage in life, their diplomas fresh in hand, feeling empowered, that they not lose sight of the fact that they were first and foremost called to serve. And proceeded to call each one up and give them a towel, commissioning them into the Order of the Towel, that they would go and serve first, and not be about their profession or their diploma, but to go and to serve first. See, we've been on a little journey here these last few weeks, talking about new life, who we are as a church. How is God leading us? Where are we going? We've talked about what it means to have new life. We've talked about the phrase, we serve better together. And today I want to look some more at the fact that we are called to serve. And that through serving, it really does open up the doorways in reaching the lost. Because last week we talked about lost people matter to God, then they must be found. And that we have to be proactive. We can't just sit in our comfortable four walls, in our nice padded chairs, and go, all right, lost people, come here. All the oxen free, come to home base. That they're wanting us to go out and meet them. Because you see, being a servant is one way of letting others know that we are a Christ follower, that we are becoming more and more like Christ. Because we are following Christ's example. Mark 10, verse 45. Jesus said this, "For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many." Think about that for a moment. We view the cross and crucifixion as an aspect of God's love, or as the greatest display of God's love, that Jesus would die. But do we think about it in terms of service? That at that moment, Jesus was serving us. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Serving. And that's what was on display as he washed his disciples' feet, as he wrapped the towel around his waist and knelt down, humbling himself. I don't know if Jesus had the heebie-jeebies, going, ew, oh, look at the fungus among us. He just did it. He served. Because that was the example that he came to set for us. That's just one of many examples. In John chapter 13, verses 14 and 15, we read this. Jesus saying, "If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you all also should do just as I have done to you." Did a foot washing at a youth group one time. And we all washed one another's feet. I know what's running through your heads right now. You're going, oh no, is he? Please no, please no. Not today. Be ready. The same. Because when it comes to serving others and serving effectively, it means getting out of our comfort zones. It means coming face to face with some things that are unpleasant. Some things that are kind of gross. I'm not talking about feet. They're just sometimes when it comes to serving others that it's not all pristine and precious and beautiful. Sometimes when we are meeting people in the highways and byways of life, we realize that life can get a little ugly, a little messy. And that in order to serve that person effectively, I'm going to have to break through that which kind of holds me back. And foot washing is just an example of what it takes to get us out of our comfort zone. Because once we do that, this is the song was sung, we're set free. Now all of a sudden that freedom to serve takes on a whole new life. Because now all of a sudden, okay, it's not going to bother me. It's not about me. See, when we give Jesus his rightful place as Lord of our lives, his lordship will be expressed in the way we serve others. Again, we have experienced the fullness of his service to us. He knew what was coming. He knew that his own death and crucifixion was not going to be an easy road to go down. I'll save that message for another time, talking about the crucifixion process. If you've ever watched The Passion of the Christ, put out by Mel Gibson, a pretty accurate portrayal if you want to see what it was like. Gives you a whole new appreciation for the tears that fell in the garden and why he sweat drops of blood. He knew what was coming. But it wasn't about him. It was about the Father's will. Dovetailing last week to this week about lost people mattering to God. They need to be found. When it comes to serving, even though it looks unappealing and uncomfortable, we're realizing that it's not about us. It's about the Father's will of finding those people and breaking through our own. And we just do it. I've had some situations in the ministry that I would rather not have had to deal with. I've literally had to pick up other people's species. I'd rather wash 100 feet than to do that ever again. Christ is molding us and shaping us, and it gets expressed in how we serve others. Mark 9:35, he sat down and called the 12, and he said to them, if anyone would be first, he must be last of all and servant of all. 1 Peter 4:10, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. In other words, what God has given each and every one of us wasn't meant to be kept for us. It was meant to be given to others, to serve others. And when we're serving, it means that we are being a good steward of what God has entrusted in our care. It's not just about the finances that he has entrusted in us. It's about the gifts and the abilities that God has given us. I thought back to the parable of the talents. To the one he gave 5, to the one he gave 2, and to the other he gave 1. And what happened? The one who had 5 went out and worked, and he doubled it and made it 10. The one who had 2, he went out and worked, doubled it, and had 4. The one who was given 1, what did he do? He buried it. And what he had been given, what had been entrusted into his care, was taken from him and given to the one who had gained 10. Because he was not a good steward. So Christ has set that example to serve, so then we follow his example. We become good stewards with what God has given us. Because you see, service demonstrates our love for God. How can we demonstrate love for God? Our love for God will be expressed in our love for others. Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 4, verse 5, "For what we preach is not ourselves, but Jesus Christ as Lord, with ourselves as your servants, for Jesus' sake." You want to show others that you love God? They're saying, don't tell me, show me. Love me. Right where I'm at. Love my ugly, stinky, sweaty feet. A few years ago, we were driving across North Dakota on our way to Minnesota for Christmas time. It was a cold, cold day. I don't think, with the wind chills, they were in the 30 to 40 below. We never saw the temperature get above 0 the whole trip. We stopped just between Bismarck and Jamestown for lunch. Pulled into a Burger King. We're having our lunch. And there was another family there. It looked like a young mother with her mother. And the young mother had 1 or 2 children. And she was on the cell phone. If I had to guess, I would say that on the other end of the line was the father of the children. I'll use father in the very loosest and most general of terms. As you could tell, the phone conversation was not going well. The woman was becoming upset and agitated, brokenhearted. Everybody in the restaurant heard. You couldn't sit anywhere and not hear her end of the conversation. And you could see what was going on and how it was affecting her. I saw her leave and go out to her car. And here was a woman who was broken, weeping. And as we were leaving, God impressed on my heart that I needed to go and just give her a gift that would be some measure of, here's God's love for you. You see, I could have walked up to her and said, you know, God loves you and has a wonderful plan for your life. I think those words would have fallen on deaf ears. Because at that moment, that woman needed a tangible, physical, real expression of love. As much as she needed those words, God loves you. She needed something else. I didn't know what exactly she needed. But all I had to offer her was a gift. So I reached into my wallet, grabbed some money, and said, God has told me to give this to you. I don't know what all is going on. But it's Christmas time. And you're brokenhearted. And you need to know God loves you. I don't know who this woman is. I don't know what's happened since that time. But God calls us to love. And there's a world that wants to see that we love God. And how they experience that is when we begin to serve them and give them love in very real physical expressions. John 15:12-13, this is my commandment, that you love one another. As I have loved you, greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. Galatians 5:13, for you were called to freedom, brothers. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love, serve one another. Philippians 2:4, let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. And when you demonstrate God's love, there are no strings attached to it. We don't serve others with the expectation of, all right, now you've got to start attending our church. We don't even serve them and go, well, now you need to come to know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Because if we go out there like that, then people begin to feel like they are a project. And I don't know about you, but I don't think we like to feel like we are someone else's project. They want to know that we love them, no matter what. I was having that conversation with a gentleman in our district. He goes around and part of his role is to just meet with other pastors and kind of encourage them and mentor and coach. We were talking about serving and doing that on a Sunday morning for church. He said they actually did it on a Saturday and then they didn't have church on Sunday. It's like, oh, another way to possibly look at it. But here's what he said to me, and this stuck with me. He goes, when we serve others, when we bless others, that's the win. That is the win. Regardless of what they do with how we serve them, it's up to them. The win is not getting them to come into these doors and that they have placed their faith and trust in Jesus. That stuff is the whipped cream and the cherry on top. Sometimes a bowl of ice cream is just good enough, right? Especially on a hot summer day. Sometimes even in the middle of winter. The win is being a blessing to others who just need to be blessed and to be told, I love you. That's it. Is God love? He loved unconditionally.